So, you want to become smart. Most people are told it takes 12 years of school, 4 years of college, and 6 years of graduate school to get there. But what you actually become is homeless. That's not even a joke. It happens. But hey, on the bright side, when you post on Reddit about how you can't find a job, you'll do it in perfect English, if you haven't guessed by the title. Becoming smart is actually pretty simple, but it's also really hard. Because most of the time, the easiest way to get smarter is to stop getting dumber. Seriously, that's the best place to start. Let's back up a little. When you and I say we want to get smarter, here's what we mean. We want to learn useful skills, preferably skills that make money. We want to solve problems faster, ideally for money. We want to get better grades, understand harder topics, maybe flex on people a little. And we want to sound smart in conversations, just enough to get respect, but not so much that people think we're a nerd who hasn't touched grass since 2012. The problem: most of the advice you get online is so vague and philosophical that you'd need to be Oprah or Socrates to actually use it. And if you go looking for practical advice, you always seem to find the same thing. Eat blueberries, drink black coffee, exercise, sleep more, listen to Mozart, take IQ tests like it's your side hustle. Okay, sure, great list. But at some point, you actually have to learn stuff. Also, let's be honest, some geniuses survived on 2 hours of sleep, black coffee, and raw determination. So it's clearly not just about diet hacks. So what can you actually do right now that works? Let's start here. Stop doing the things that make you dumber first. Social media. Stop wasting hours on TikTok, Instagram Reels, endless YouTube shorts, dopamine-chasing nonsense. It's fine to have fun sometimes, but you need hard limits. Set a timer. Schedule it. Fast reward content literally trains your brain to have less patience. You're rewiring yourself to crave instant hits of happiness, and the cost is your attention span, your focus, your peace. Second, stop giving up so early. Your brain is like Play-Doh. It adapts to what you do often. If you run a lot, you get better at running. If you give up a lot, you get better at making excuses. Your brain will trust you less if you keep quitting. That's why when you start something new, don't plan to be perfect. Plan to be consistent. Start tiny. Walk before you run. But don't stop on day 3 just because you didn't feel like it. If you teach your brain to push through, you'll build resilience. And resilience is what makes smart people actually effective. Third, stop messing with your sleep. The opposite of focus isn't distraction, it's tiredness. You cannot be focused if you're exhausted. It's biologically impossible. Sleep is the first domino. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. and drink mushroom tea to grind, but stop waking up at 11 a.m. Sleep, exercise, nutrition. Those are priority 1 because they literally support every other cognitive function you have. If your body is falling apart, your brain is next. Fourth, loneliness. This one's a silent killer. Loneliness destroys your cognitive function. We're social animals, and being isolated long-term wrecks your memory, your focus, your mood. So even if you're deep in your grind phase, find your people. Even 1 or 2 solid friends can literally save your brain. Fifth, meditation. No, not the TikTok version of meditation. I'm talking about the quiet, simple kind, where you just sit, close your eyes, breathe, and watch your thoughts go by like cars on the highway. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to solve anything. You just watch. It's the only time of the day where you don't have to perform. You don't have to be on. You don't even have to think about your problems. Just you, your breath, and your mind floating through. People have been doing this for thousands of years. There's probably a reason. It's a tool to help you stop overthinking, to reset your brain, and to actually sleep better. Okay, so now you've stopped digging your own grave. What do you do to actually build intelligence? First, read, but don't just read anything. Fiction is great. It makes you read faster, gives you better vocabulary, and if you read a lot of dialogue, it even feels like you have friends. Non-fiction is essential if you want to sound smart in conversation. It's your key to casually dropping fascinating facts without sounding like a know-it-all. Here's a pro tip. Don't say, well, actually, humans didn't evolve from chimpanzees. Evolution is non-linear, and several human-like species coexisted simultaneously. That's how you make people hate you. Say this instead. Yeah, it's wild, right? I always thought humans evolved from chimps, but I was reading something the other day and apparently we just evolved side by side. Same fact, different delivery. You'll sound smart and humble. How do you find these books? Simple. Pick a topic you want to learn. Let's say cleaning. Google books about cleaning. Find one. Sure, it might cost money, but if your finger accidentally slips and you find yourself on a certain website that rhymes with be a library, and you happen to download a free copy, whoops. But here's the catch. Reading alone isn't enough. You have to use what you learn. Otherwise, your brain will delete it faster than you delete your ex's texts. Let's say you read a chapter on how to clean a bedroom. Now go clean a bedroom. It doesn't even have to be yours. Just clean something. Your brain will lock it in. If you learn how to jumpstart a car, ideally you go practice it. But not everyone has 2 cars lying around, so what do? You imagine it. Visualize the exact moment you'd need to use that skill. Find a video. Pretend that's your car. Walk through each step in your head. When you mentally rehearse, your brain thinks you've done it before. That's the trick. This is why the school system gives you tests. They know you'll forget most things in 15 years. So they create fake emergencies where you need the info right now or you fail. That's how your brain learns to care. Repetition helps. Mind mapping helps. Spaced study helps. But practice problems are king because they mimic the real moment when you'll need that knowledge. If you don't have practice questions, make your own. Imagine you're hanging off a cliff by one hand and someone says they'll save you, but only if you can name all the parts of a human cell. Your brain will remember. This is why textbooks are the fastest way to get smart. There's no fluff, no YouTube edits, no distractions, just information and practice problems. And if you can't solve them, well, flip to page 37 in the appendix and try again. Textbooks aren't for the casual learner. They're not as fun as watching a video and forgetting it an hour later. But if you're serious, there's a certain website you might stumble across where textbooks happen to be free, accidentally, of course. And remember, being smart isn't about IQ, it's about thinking critically, learning skills, building things, practicing, and making decisions thoughtfully, even when they don't all turn out perfect. The most important part, don't give up, don't waste time, and don't forget to touch grass.